Was that the running man? I'm gonna try and do the Chris dance move there.
Conjure the corgi. Hi everybody.
Hey, I'm Lex.
I'm Chris with PDQ.com.
Q&A today, guys. Yeah. Bet on me. You could. We'll give this shirt away. The ID10T Air.
Oh, fabulous! I'm not giving this away. I really like this shirt.
That is a sweet shirt. So, should we hit it?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, because there are odds against me, do I get first shot at the questions?
All right. That's decent. All right. That's fair enough. I think it's a good...
Okay.
Here we go. Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, I am new to PDQ and love it so far. We have a laptop that gets a DHCP reservation for both the Wi-Fi and LAN connections. PDQ seems to be looking for this Wi-Fi address. However, his laptop is docked, which gives him the LAN address. The DNS record is showing the Wi-Fi address. If I remove the DNS record and flush DNS on the server, I can get PDQ to talk to the laptop on the LAN address, but I don't want to have to do this every time. Any suggestions? Please help me. Ron G.
Awesome.
Okay, I got my hand up. Does that mean I get to answer this one?
I think so. Lex!
Yes, okay. Aaron. Aaron. Hey, couple of things. Assuming, this is just an assumption that your DNS is actually, scavenging at, say, like an 8-hour level. You're going to have 2 records in your DNS generally. And so if you go to right here, in Preferences, under Network, Test Multiple Addresses and Name Resolution in Inventory, do you get points for that?
No, I'm just helping. I'm helping you get points.
Okay. And the other place to do it would be, this is Deploy. Oh, that was Deploy. Right here under the Performance, again, Test Multiple Addresses and Name Resolution. That will go down and test until somebody answers and then make the attempt at that point.
Well, that's good.
Any thoughts?
I like it. I mean, that's why we have this thing. High fives.
Score 1 for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, if a computer has been off for a while or a laptop has been disconnected from the network, is there an easy or quick way to tell what packages need to be updated? Something other than checking individual packages or waiting for triggers to happen. Sincerely, Gene the Dancing Machine, C.
Would you like to attempt this?
I'm gonna. Do I lose points for doing it wrong?
No.
No. Okay, I'm gonna pass on that one because I don't know of a really good way to check that. Specifically, but I mean.
Okay, so clarification here. When you say other than checking individual packages, I'm wondering if you mean you're checking individual collections. If so, that's pretty much the de facto way that we do in PDQ inventory to check that.
Okay, that's a good point.
But if you have a schedule with all the packages attached to it without any triggers, you could just manually trigger that schedule against that target to just, shotgun blast, whatever it's going to find that it's not up to date, that doesn't match, as long as with those schedules, and here Lex is going to pull this up for me, you can link to those collections. So say you want to have, make sure that Google Chrome is updated, Mozilla Firefox is updated, and whatever you have, just have those packages attached to this given schedule, and just manually run it. You don't actually have to have a trigger for a schedule.
Now, the other thing I would do, I'm just going to add to this, is let's say that was supposed to run on Friday, the machine was off.
Yeah.
They turned it on Monday. If you add a heartbeat schedule.
This is a good one.
Okay, and again, this is supposed to run on Friday. I just scheduled it to run starting 11 p.m. We'll give it a day to actually run on the right time, but the Monday following, heartbeat, when that thing comes online, it's going to check, is there anything out there for me? Grab it and deploy it at that point.
Yep. So all the triggers you have here that are up there, you can combine them into one. You can pick or choose which ones you want. I mean, it's all up to you on how you want to organize your environment. A lot of people, myself included, tend to combine them. So like Lex is showing here, you have a schedule for every day or every week, in addition to the heartbeat, so it catches those as they come back. Because as they come online, you can go through and say, hey, go get Chrome, hey, go get Firefox, or at least do the comparison against the collection to see if you're old or up to date.
Now, the good thing is that takes care of it. As for being able to see what happened, easily, you just have to check your collections, like Chris said.
Yeah, or a divining stick. It's cool.
The divining stick?
Those are fun.
There it is.
Hey, Colby.
I think this page was...
Is your mic on, man?
Yep, you're good now.
Okay, good. Okay. Sorry, man.
I think this page was added in Inventory 16, but if you open a computer...
Is that
There
better?
you go,
There
buddy.
we
Yeah,
go.
woo, got Colby online.
I hit the wrong mute
Okay.
button.
I opened a computer. Colby, walk me through this, man.
Now go to the collections page,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Collection.
and then in the search box, type in old.
All right, now who gets the points for this one now? I did a little bit, you did a little bit, Colby did a little bit.
I'm going to give you each a point.
I should get 2. All right, cool.
Who answered first?
But who answered best?
Subjective.
You did. You did. Okay. All right, I shouldn't. I'll still take that point.
We all answered best. It's a team effort here. We're very, very team-oriented, not definitely focusing on the points that we're accumulating. So,
All right, then let's get some more points.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, is it possible to generate a report that shows computers that are running out of storage? Thanks, Derek.
Okay, because there's odds, I'm going to take this one because
Sweet.
yes, we can do this. I'm going to build a new report. It's a basic report. We're going to use a computer name, and I'm going to look for center that. I'm going to look at centering that. Thank you for the heads up there.
that's important on your own personal machines as well. Centered underscore. No, I'm just kidding. Just don't.
Disk drive right now. Filters. I probably should name that. Chris, what do you think we should name that?
Do the things with the stuff about disk space.
That would take me all day to type. Thank you, Chris. So our filter at this point is I'm going to go add the filter, and we're going to look for machines that have disk, the disk drive, size in gigabytes, percentage free. Oh, hang on. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Logical disk. There we go. See, and what I'm looking for is percentage free equals, we'll say, is less than, I don't know, let's go 20% because I don't know.
200.
200%. Wow. And then you can run this. The other great thing is you can actually add this to, I probably should add the amount of disk space, shouldn't I? Define report. Boom.
Let's
Disk
add it. This is how easy it is to add those
Logical
individual
disk.
columns.
Percent free. Run it again.
Council of Ricks, what have you done?
Oh my goodness, 1% free. So you could do this, and then you could actually, use auto reports and have this write it out to a file or your desktop or something and check it daily.
And I'm going to give a bonus thing to this
Oh,
because
bonus.
I love this. It's one of my favorite. So we have the tools that you can create that can run locally, remotely, whatever. I'd maybe still be on here. It's not. There's a tool called WinderStat that I personally like. There's a bunch out there called WizTree. You can create a tool, and I'm not going to go into in detail here because I do have some webcasts on that. If you do have any questions, reach out. I'm happy to answer this for you. But you can create a tool really quickly that just is pointing to the target, and I'll walk you through it here, I guess. Pointing to where WinderStat is located in this case. So, see some folder WinderStat. It's probably in your program files directory. WinderStat. Oh, I misspelled Winder. Stat.exe. There is no documentation around this, but it does accept a command line parameter for what directory you want to target, and you can target UNC paths. So you could actually do something like use one of these placeholders we have here for the target. And if you want to do that, you can actually target the drive so that you look at counts of RICs, you see 1%, you can run this tool and say, well, where's all my space being taken up?
There you go.
Anyway, kind of
That's
fun.
a twofer.
I love
the
it.
report, and then you can go after and find out what's going on.
And solve your problem.
I love it.
Shall we press on?
On.
Oh, wait, no, that's off.
And Chris, you'll be happy to know I gave both of you points. So the standing right now, Colby 1, Chris 2, Lex 3. How about that?
Okay, I got to bask in the glory because this is after this. I just know it is.
It's still anybody's game.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, how can I find out which deployments are targeting or linked to particular collections? It would be great to see deployments that have targeted that collection either in a scheduled deployment so that we know what deployments have used that in recent past, and also what deployments may be impacted before we modify a collection. Sincerely, Magic Michael R.
Do you have any thoughts before we go into this? I'm giving you fair.
Boy, all right. I'm going to pass.
So first clarification, and I know it's not interactive, you can't type this, but when you say, are we talking about just schedules or just schedules and target lists? If so, those are stored in the database. You can run a query against those. I can do it live. I don't think that we enjoy that.
I have a query for that.
Oh, Colby does.
Oh,
Colby has a
wow,
query for
okay.
that.
It's in the bonus content.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Thank you.
I think he just
Well done.
scored on both of us.
Good job. One cool thing you can do with those is with whatever you're doing. I'm partial to PowerShell, as many of you might know. I'll have different scripts to run queries against a database to do things. And one cool thing you might not know about querying databases is, in this case, I'm guessing with your query that you have in the bonus content should be targeting the schedules in a deploy database.
Yep.
But you can actually attach the PDQ inventory database into the same session, so you can actually join between the two databases and pull data, so you can link the collection ID with the name of the collection. So you can do some fancy things. If you're interested, let me know. Maybe I'll do a blog or something fancy.
Actually, in this case, the database does have the collection name. The deploy database
good.
already has a collection name.
wow.
Fantastic. Well, then, don't have to do what I'm doing, but you can still do that if you're curious and want to join the databases together. So, but ignore me. Anyway, cool. Well done.
That's still
And-
only 1 point, Colby. Only
Colby
one.
grabs the point.
Yeah, and to address the rest of their collection, deployments do not track, like if you did deploy once and chose a collection, nothing in the database keeps track of that. It only keeps track of the targets.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, trying to apply patches to Acrobat DC Reader, but in some cases the package is showing failed. I assume some component is open and needs to be closed. Is there a simple command to close all open Adobe products? Thanks, Jorlando D.
Simple. I love that word. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I got to know, why are you laughing? It's simple.
Is there a simple way to do blank? There's almost always not in many cases.
No, it's not.
Like with
It's simple.
Adobe, with Microsoft, like I just want to do this, but I just want to do this. And so many times have I run into a wall and just pulled my hair out to the point where it's so short now that I can't figure it out. My first thought, unless you have a thought on this,
I was going to say PowerShell,
good answer.
but do I get a point just for suggesting it?
No.
All right, all right.
I don't know of a
Passing.
simple command that close all open Adobe products because there are so many. But if you know of which ones that are on a machine or which you're targeting, you can start adding to a list and just close them, either using task kill from a command line or something like stop process from PowerShell.
Yeah.
But like for example, in Acrobat Reader, the actual binaries is called something like acro read or whatever 32.exe or something. You're not going to find like Photoshop's not going to start with acro read 32. It's going to have power. I keep saying PowerShell because it's the better thing. Haha. Anyway, it's not going to have Photoshop in the name, so you're going to have to just probably build a list of the programs that you know are open. Is my thought. I don't know, Colby. Do you have any ideas?
It's been a while since I've looked at this, but I don't remember if like get process if there's any properties of like the publisher or anything like that, or if you can pull that from WMI. What you might be able to do is
you might be able to do
if you can find like the publisher of a process, you could do like a kill all for that publisher. But doing something that much of a blanket seems kind of scary to me.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that.
Yeah. Build the list. Be safe. I mean, if you only have a certain amount of products in your machines, you're going to know what they
Okay.
are when they're open.
Okay, I'm going for the point here.
Okay.
Simple way to do it in your package: hit a reboot first, then install it.
Lex really wants this win.
I want it. I need the point, guys.
This will solve probably, unless it's an auto start program.
That's
and
a
then,
good point.
so-
That is a good point. But that's the simple way to do it. It ain't elegant, but it's simple. Huh? We're going to the judges on that one.
Unless it's auto start, which probably isn't. Probably isn't. It's Adobe products.
All right. What do the judges say?
You didn't get the point, Lex.
Dang it.
All right, dearest Lex, Chris, and Colby, we install several software titles not maintained by PDQ. Monthly, we check for and download updated versions manually. Can you recommend a method that would automatically check or download from different websites new versions of software? Thanks, Brad M.
Yes.
We can. Gonna not get
Elaborate.
the point again. Thanks. Take it away, Chris.
Okay, so depending upon the vendor, whatever the
Just
where
so
you
you
get
know,
the
I
software
know how
from,
to do this. There's just
You're deferring.
okay. I know how to do it. Doesn't mean I can. Okay. I mean,
He's letting me talk because he just wants to hear my voice.
that's exactly. It.
So there's a couple different ways, really, if you want to tackle this. The best is if the publisher themselves have some sort of like RSS feed or something that you can go see here and go subscribe to announcements. You can even use something like PowerShell, hey, PowerShell again, to go query those and actually take a look and see if there's a new version released. You can even jump into web scraping, but that's something that is a little bit over the top for most people because it can get complicated and really fragile really fast.
Really fragile.
But the best thing is if the publishers themselves actually have a method with which they announce it, which many do, but obviously many don't. So if it is a piece of software that is a popular piece and it doesn't violate any EULAs, I mean, I'd be happy to have it submitted over here. Maybe we can even upload it to our package library. I mean, that's something I like to do.
Yep,
So.
we have a list where we keep track of package library requests, so
Yeah.
we can add it.
So hit us up, please. I mean, I'd love to know. I mean, if it's just some random, software built in the basement by someone that has anyway, let us know.
There you go.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, can we import event log critical errors into inventory using a scan? If so, can it be limited to a week or two old? Sincerely, Billy Z.
You guys hate me, don't you? You just send these in because I gotta go. You need a PowerShell and send it to Chris. Yeah, thanks, guys. I know why the odds are stacked against me here. So.
Yes. Yeah. So
I love the air.
It's a disturbing noise.
when you import it into inventory, there's really only a couple places to store this data.
Yeah.
So you're going to probably want to reference some videos or blogs that we have out there for how to import data. I have a blog out there that shows you how to go grab info and create a custom field and then import the data into the custom field based off that. But again, if you're importing a lot of data, so you're looking for the critical events that happen within a week, if you have one or two, cool, that's great. But if you have like 200, you're going to have a bad time looking at a bunch of custom fields or one custom field with as much data as that field stores, which I don't know when that will explode when you put enough data into it. But honestly, I would just create a filter within the event log that you can always use, and then just use inventory, because in inventory, I mean, you can access the event log really easily. We have it built in. There's shortcut Control-Alt-E. I can select a machine, hit Control-Alt-E, and it'll pull up the event viewer and connect to that machine and do all the fun things, and you can go see those. And if you have a custom view, that filter, you can then narrow it down. So I don't know. I'm wary of storing things that could potentially explode inside inventory, like those custom fields, because there's no good way.
In my mind, you'd have to PowerShell it. You'd have to filter for exactly what you're looking for on those errors, and then probably do a limitation before you stick it in the database.
Yeah.
Which becomes complex.
Yes.
Convoluted over time.
Yes, and you can get this in PowerShell, and so in the future, there may or may not be a fantastic way with which to get this in there. But
the PowerShell scanner that we have talked about.
I know. I just
many times
waiting for someone else to say it so I can say yes, that one.
No.
But again, you're still going to have data overload that you're going to have to sift through without proper filtering. So anyway, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, you can actually query the event log from WMI.
Yeah.
And we have a knowledge base article about doing exactly that. And I don't know how to set up the exact filters that they asked for. I'd have to do some research.
Yeah.
But as far as the data overload, you can set a limit on the number of rows that'll be returned for that scanner.
Right. And again, that's something to call out, is that limit. If you're expecting to limit it, fantastic. But if you don't know what you're expecting and it's pushing back 1,000, but you limit it to 200, you're missing 800 entries that are coming through. Be aware. There are some caveats to this. That's why I slightly cringed at this, is because I've encountered the same problem. So I don't know. It's a good. Yeah, WMI is a good method as well. I shy away from WMI, the WMIC console, just because I'm so involved with PowerShell, doing it via PowerShell. But WMI is great.
Everything's a nail when you have a hammer.
Yes.
I just have to say that at least once, because you smoked me every single time with the PowerShell.
Power hammer shell.
All right, here we go.
And checking the standings, Chris in the lead with 5, Colby and Lex tied at 3.
Score for me.
Dear Lex, what is Lex's favorite summer activity? Sincerely, Mark K.
Now, anyone can still get this point.
Oh.
Don't I get to answer first, though, because odds are stacked against me?
We need a buzzer.
But there's a buzzer. It's kind of a toss-up between two of them. Sailing and drinking tequila.
Sailing.
And if I can sail and drink tequila while sailing, that's my favorite summer activity. So.
I'm sorry, Lex, that's incorrect.
Oh, man. Chris, what's the right answer, man?
Doing PowerShell while sitting on the shore of these lakes with your corgi?
And
And
that is
Chris with the point.
The judges?
Colby?
Colby?
Good enough. That's a point.
Colby got the point? Oh.
Accurate.
all right.
Apparently, he's drank enough tequila.
Let's have more questions like that. Here we go.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, I have a report for showing non-standard local admins, not domain admins or administrator. Is it possible to have a collection for this rather than a report? Thanks, Gandalf.
Oh, that took me a second. I looked down. I was like,
Gandalf?
oh, Gandalf. I didn't.
Well, in the wizarding world,
Yes.
is it possible? I'm still stuck on what I like to do for the summer, but go ahead.
Okay, well, without even showing you, it sounds like you already have that report.
Yeah.
Cool thing is you can actually right-click on a report here. Hey, or where is it? Where is it? Colby, help me.
I think you have to open, run the report.
Okay.
And then from there, yeah.
Where am I at?
Try tools or file.
I am.
Or might have been out in the right-click menu.
There's
So
somewhere.
whoever finds it first gets the point.
Yeah, this is it. Hold on, no, you should be able to
You
just.
should right-click from there.
Yeah.
Okay. New.
It's grayed out. New collection from report. That's why I missed. Wow, I was looking for it. Apparently, things that are grayed out are completely out of my vision here.
You can't do it. Yeah.
So, for example, if you have a report, let's just let's just create a simple report here, just to show you, without going into details of what do you have. So we're just going to list computers that have a filter for, name contains Rick. We have a few here, right?
Do we? We do.
Yes. Yes?
So the great thing about this, it's going to take those
There it
filters
is.
over and make that collection.
Yes, right here. New collection from report. There's a button here. You can go do that. It's going to pull those over, like Lex said, and you can create this and save, all the Ricks. All the Rocks, because I can spell Ricks and Rocks, or Rocks and Ricks.
Rocks and Ricks.
Spelling.
Caveat on this, if you do build a SQL report as opposed to a basic report, that won't cut over to a
Yeah.
dynamic report. So,
Oh.
or dynamic
There we go.
collection.
Yes, and so depending upon, that's the one.
And stuff. Did I derail you?
No, I just was clicking and thinking, and that's hard for me apparently. I forgot what I named. New report. Right clicking on do new collection from report. That didn't stand out with me with displays, and that could be based off
The
what
type
it's
of-
actually
yeah.
doing in the report. So
Yeah, it has to have filters.
yes, and so in this case, I'm going to show you no filters, and that's really what threw me off there for a second. So anyway, that is good. So just right click on it and do create collection from report, and your
Filters
golden.
should go. Yep.
Yeah, it's easy. Doesn't matter what report is, other than if it doesn't have filters.
Dang it.
All right. Who's in the lead?
Who got the points that time?
Well, not you. As it stands right now, Chris is in the lead with 6, followed by Colby with 5, and Lex trailing with 4.
Hey, it's still possible, Lex.
You got it.
I get 2 points now.
Just
for
say
every
answer it twice.
If I tell the answer twice, I get 2 points, right?
Tell me 2 good ways to answer a question.
Okay, I can do that. I got it.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, is there a way to build a collection based off of a folder created date? I want to base the collection off of when Sophos was installed. I want to know what computers have not been imaged this year. Thanks, Philip A.
Don't look at me. Yes, you can.
Show us.
Don't make me do that. Okay. Thanks. I'm going to defer to those guys.
This is good.
And I'm just going to sit here and drink the rest of the 4 minutes we're here. So go ahead.
I like a good match. Colby, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I believe this is possible with the files and directory scanner.
There you go.
That's what I was thinking.
Good.
Does that count now that I said that?
Sure.
The question I've got is, okay, files and directory scanner, you can get the files and directories, but does it show the date? See, that's the thing I was wondering.
Okay,
It's like
well,
I can pull the folder, but
let's find out
the
together.
date is the thing I'm wondering.
So one of the built-in scan profiles, Windows EXEs, I'm just going to open up to show you that there is, what's part of this is a files and directory scanner that scans, this location.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to run that against a machine or so. We'll pick these ones. Sure, why not? And we'll scan them and wait for them to do all the things.
They're going to do all the things. So it does actually pull the dates?
We're about to find out.
Does it? Nah, you know, man.
We're about to find out. Files and directories.
There it is. Dang it. Ooh, that could have been an easy point for me.
I
Dang.
know, right?
I mean, I knew it could do it. I just didn't know it actually pulled that info.
Yeah,
Dang.
so
Okay. I learned.
that should pull that.
Do I get any points for learning something new today
Yes,
Best
you get
effort
a
award.
gold star.
on my forehead?
So, we have this date create,
Spent a
date
point.
modified, right? In this window, I'll leave that open. So if you're going to go create a report here, where are the windows? Okay, filters. We'll add a filter here.
Files and directories.
Yep, and then you can add, based off whatever value you're looking
Date
here, including
modified.
the dates. So yeah, the name of the folder, any of the information that is available in this window here with CrocUbot, you can filter on and create a collection or a report based off of that.
Yep, and just beware that working with dates can be a little funky. Getting the logic right with like not before, not after, days ago, and stuff can be a little
Play with it and verify, yeah.
yeah, a little strange.
By the way, I hate you guys.
Aw, we hate you too.
That's how we say love around here.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, I recently noticed all of my PDQ agents are reporting external, whether they are on the local network or not. Is there any way to fix this? Sincerely, Brian Cuts Like a Knife, A.
Mr. Adams. Fortunately for you, I don't know what they're doing with that, so I'm going to pass once again.
I'll just, again, this is, Colby knows a lot more about the agent than I do, and so generally speaking, if an agent can't reach your machine locally within your environment, it's going to reach out. But do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the agent is currently in beta. We are having some issues with it, such as
Hence
stuff
the
like
reason
this.
Beta.
Yeah, and I think there's been some service issues lately. So, if you notice they're external right now, wait an hour, they might come back internal, stuff like that. You also want to be careful not to have too many agents because that can cause some serious performance issues. And the biggest thing is reach out to support. They're gathering reports of agent issues, trying to help determine the direction we're going to go with the agent in the future.
Hey, do I get points if I have a positive spin on this?
What's your positive spin?
It's being worked on. It is.
I'll give you 2 Corgi points.
Those are like pesos to the...
Yeah, I was going to say, dude. They're great. Thanks, man.
Yes, you got points.
I
Yes,
put them in
give
my
you points.
pocket, and all it's going to do is weigh my pants down. That's it.
Well, that's rough. Rough.
Ow.
I know.
Bad joke.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby. By the way, Colby, you're in the lead with 7. Well done. Well done. With Windows Defender ATP constantly wanting to rename files at reboot, the Reboot Needed flag isn't meaningful anymore. Most computers want to reboot at least twice a day. Could we filter just on computers requesting a reboot for update purposes? Thanks, Joe S.
Don't.
Okay.
I get to answer third on this one.
Short answer is no. There's no really easy way to filter that in here within inventory. We have that data for what the reasoning is if you run, I believe, a SQL report. If I recall. I don't think it's in the basic report, just because the data gets so large.
It does.
In computers, we have
Reboot.
detailed reasons for
Yep.
the reboot. Yep.
I want to add something to that so that I get the point.
Okay, add it.
No.
All right.
With a head shake. Notice the head shake.
So,
We're gonna have to go to the judges for that one.
Yeah, so this
No,
data
yeah.
that you're looking for is here. But just to show you, if I was to try and create a new dynamic collection, for example, and add not a group filter, because science. Let's go ahead and say, I just add habit. I guess computer filter I always add. So anyway, if we go down to look at the computer filter and add, you have the needs reboot, but there's no detailed reboot reason in here. So
Kind of hard
yeah.
to get that data at this point.
But it is here. I suppose you could. No, I'm not even going to go that. We're getting into some weird territory with PowerShell that I'm not even going to try at this point.
Multi-dimensions crashing, bad things happening,
Yeah,
black hole vortex.
well, bigger than that, I'm kind of curious with the Microsoft Defender ATP stuff, which obviously was rebranded recently as Microsoft Defender ATP. What operations they're doing that is changing it so that things need to be changed on a reboot,
So
once a
frequently,
day or
yeah.
twice a day or whatever. And if that's something you can actually manage within the Microsoft Defender ATP itself, or is that just part of the normal operations? Because I'm not super familiar with the latest versions of this, so I'm not familiar with what can be excluded or why it's doing this, because we can identify why it's doing that, or if it's so benign it's just part of the operations. I mean, maybe we can add an exclusion for it in the program itself. If that's the case, I mean, hit us up, open up a support ticket, and we'd love to troubleshoot this. I would love to troubleshoot this, because this is new territory for me. I don't know, is the short answer.
You got to be getting a point because Colby's over there shaking his head like, oh.
What do you think, Kobe?
That's what I was going to say is reach out to support. We have added exclusions for similar things like this in the past.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I believe there is a simple reboot reason field as well.
Oh, good.
Which, if that contains the data you need, it's going to be easier to work with. But like the other one, it's also not available in collections.
Okay. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just a little easier to work with in the SQL report.
Right, rather than this. Let's go take a look at it real quick while we're talking about it. So there's the big,
Detail.
angry one. Actually, I'll remove the description. And then simple, where are you? So if that helps, maybe it's a very, very big blanket, but that might be a way to look at things. But again, you cannot put this into a collection filter. So, anywho, yeah. So hit up our support, seriously.
And I want to add, yeah.
Yeah. Definitive, yeah.
Definitive, yeah. Do I get the points for the, yeah?
Dear Lex, Chris,
Nope.
and Colby, we have a PC that we set up at this location and then moved to one of our other locations and now cannot be seen in inventory. I assume this is DNS related. Short of just removing the old entry in DNS, what would you recommend as the best DNS practice for this situation? Sincerely, Matt Z.
Matzy. Hello. Do you have any thoughts? Do you know DNS?
I got a couple of thoughts.
Okay.
I mean, one, before you start nuking stuff, right? I mean, I'm a big fan of nuking stuff, usually on the end user's machines. But when it comes to your DNS, it's like, is it registering? What's it registering? And what's your scavenging setup so it's automatic? Those are probably the best routes to go.
Yeah.
In the short term, yeah, nuke it. Get it re-added. But what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, I mean, again, it's how your DNS is set up. So you said you moved locations. My first question, which I assume is the case here, but I would want to know whether or not those two locations can communicate to each other. Do you have
Good point,
do you
good
have
point.
can machines at that second location you moved it to connect to your inventory over here? If they can't, well, that's why. I mean, that's a given. But this is like as
Have
Katie
you rebooted?
Yes, as Katie put in
It's
the
the have
pre-show,
you
the
rebooted,
cursed
yeah.
question: have you rebooted? But without knowing more about your environment, it's hard to say. But again, proper DNS registering of that machine, so that and scavenging of the old records is kind of a big deal here. So you actually are pointing to the right machine,
Yeah.
as well as all the routing and stuff gets from where it's at to where it needs to be.
So I would say the best instance in your case is check your scavenging, check how it's registering, and work back from that way.
Yeah, and there might be some unique things that I'm missing.
It just
The last
depends,
one, you have
yeah.
any thoughts, Colby?
Nope, not really.
Was that a Lex point right there?
I think it was.
Yep.
There you go. All right, guys.
I just wanted you guys to know I was channeling Brig.
That's a good way to get points.
Grandmaster
We're going to
of
do a
DNS.
speed round for the last three.
Okay.
Cool.
Got a minute to answer.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, I have noticed that scans are not updating inventory. No errors are reported with the scan, just that inventory is not updating. The only resolution I have found is that if I delete the computer and then resync with AD, it will update appropriately. Any idea what might be causing this? Sincerely, Jeremy spoke in class today. Oh.
Since it's Peter, I'm jumping in. Okay. First and foremost, I would double check that your default scanner hasn't changed. I mean, for all I know, you created a scan profile that has like one scanner that barely does anything or what have you, and that became the default scanner, and you set it to unintentionally, then you're not going to get the data you're expecting. Another thought I have is...
I want to add, it's possible you could have a corrupt database. I mean, it's possible.
Sure.
Usually those scans, if you get the scan, the data's going to update.
Right. So with these scans, if you open up a machine that you've scanned and actually look at the scans item here, do you see them show up in this list? If they're not showing up at this list, something's fundamentally not working, and the scan's not being triggered as if there's no scan. So that would be my question. I mean, without seeing or knowing more.
Verified the scan run.
Yeah.
Run. Yeah. And
Did
then
the thing.
Did all the things, yes. And then if the data's not there, I mean, at that point, I'm kind of stumped. It should be there. That would be a support ticket.
Yeah, I'd be leaning toward bug if something's going on here, because if you attempt to scan and you have a scan profile set, the default scan, which you have to have, if for some reason it's not, that's a bad thing. You can't just set it to null. Anyway, it should show up here in this list here. You should have scans showing up here. Whether or not it's pulling data is different.
On a quick note, check your disk space. I mean,
oh, yeah, good
it's
point.
a possibility, but...
Maybe it's going over there. It could be being destroyed in transit. Check, like antivirus. Make sure that if you have antivirus set up, it's not deleting. So we send this information over the target machine. It spins up a little service to do all the things, gather the stuff, pet some corgis, all the fun stuff that happens on that machine.
Whitelist it in your antivirus. Yeah.
Exactly. Because it could be destroyed in transit, and it just suddenly just says, boop, I'm done. Woo. You should see an error in most cases, but there's potential that it just doesn't get back. So.
All right, speed round. Question 2.
Go.
Also make sure the target has at least .NET 4.5.2 installed. I recently saw a ticket with the same error, and for some reason, or the same issue, and for some reason it didn't throw the error that it needed that, but once they installed it, then the scan started working again.
So yeah, check the minimum requirements on everything, please.
Cool.
Dear Lex, Chris, and Colby, any plans to add a Microsoft Teams deployment package? I made one for myself, just curious. Sincerely, Jaren C.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to jump into what I said earlier as well, which is we love adding packages to the package library so long as we're able to, based off distribution licensing and all that fun stuff. If we can, I'd love to add Microsoft Teams. I mean, we use Slack here, but I've heard great things about Teams. In fact, I've actually recently read an article about Teams taking a big market share. So if it's relatively straightforward and the licensing is there, we can do this, fantastic. Talk to our support, submit a request, and we'll look into that, because I'd be all over that.
We love adding new packages,
Yeah.
And our final question of the day, has the PDQ office all taken the old face pictures going around? Share them with us, or don't. Mike B.
Here's the funny thing. My buddy sent me an old picture of me from the Face app thing. It's disturbing, man. If I look like that when I get that old, honestly...
And apparently the entire thing is a Russian hack anyways.
Yeah, sure. Russian hack.
So.
Yeah, come on.
I'm going to play the normally Lex played card here. Yeah. What in the world is Old Face?
It's an app, social media viral phenomenon where people are using an app to make themselves look like senior citizens.
Picture of you, and then it just makes you look old.
But it has come out that it's a Russian company that has developed the app, so there's a whole lot of security red flags about it.
That is true. I personally wouldn't do it, but again, I had a friend who took a picture of me and sent it to me, and it was unbelievably disturbing.
And so now your face is stored in a database somewhere they can have that they can tie to your name.
I didn't know you could go from 0 to less than 0 and attractive.
Ooh.
But I found out it's possible because I saw myself.
Just rub that face with some corgi and you're good.
Dude, you can only polish a turd so much.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up.
Anywho, I'm kind of interested. I thought I played a pretty good game today. Maybe.
Well done.
I hope I won. I don't know, but hey, thank you guys for the questions. We've had a lot of fun. And
seriously, thanks for watching. And remember, PowerShells and corgis are the thing.
I might disagree a little bit, but Thanks for watching, guys. Catch y'all later.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. The final tally, Chris with the big win, 10 points. Colby coming in second with 8, and Lex trailing with 7. Any surprises? If you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to our support forums. And congratulations, David L. and Paul Y., winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.